All right, you beautiful bastions of freedom, scruffians of the world, unite. It is time. The light is not on. What is going on with this production? Who in the world? There we go. We are good. We're back. I apologize. Everything must be pristine in this establishment of freedom every single day. We've got the freedom tabs lined up. It is going to be a great episode. If you're new here, here's what we do. We save the country together every single broadcast. We source every single thing. We're 100% clickbait free. And also, we kick socialists while they're down. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be a great time. There's a whole lot of socialist thing right now that we're about to have a whole lot of fun because even CNN is getting in on the goodies. And hell's freezing. That's just it. Hell is frozen. There are demons ice skating right now because the clips upon clips upon clips that I have for you will not only make you smile, a tear will come to the eye. Your heart will actually smile when you see the things that I'm about to show you, and I'm not even overselling it. So as you get in here, let me know where you're from in this incredible country. If you're not stateside, you can tell me where you are in the world too, but we all know you're a little bit jelly because you want to be in the best place in the entire planet. So with that said, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Guys, we've got to get this message out. Get out the signal, and you have every power within you to do just that. So please do it. Okay, remember, you got to pick your favorite emojis. Get ready, because the copy paster is coming. Just like the sun rises every morning, the copy paster will show up at some point. Be ready to chase them away back into the darkness from whence they came. Straight up Marxist over there. Let's not let them win. You know what? Let's have some fun. That was a heck of an opener. And by the way, little teaser. At the very end, I'm going to show you something that I created that no one's ever seen before. A Scruffian exclusive, as it were. So bear with me. That'll be like an hour from now. But it's still going to be amazing. Guys, let's get right into this. Because you deserve every bit of this momentous occasion of CNN seeing the light. I tell you what, guys. Oh, man. Sometimes you just have some fun. And if you want to have a lot more fun, you can follow me on X at BradenLOA. Let's get it. Okay, CNN. Hair Bear here, Harry Enton, he's having a moment. He's having a moment of clarity because I don't know what happened at CNN today. I don't know if they got the word that, I'm going to be honest with you, their socialists be spreading like the plague in 1300s Europe, or if they got the call that said it's not good for business. I don't know what happened, but something woke in them fairly, and they are after them. Watch, this is, we're going to ease into this. Remember, we're only in the appetizer portion. This appetizer portion is going to be delicious. Here we go, watch. Or don't watch. It's going to be one of these shows, huh? Okay. All right.
Socialism is no longer just a polling phenomenon. It is in the real world. We are seeing actual candidates winning primaries. What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about this. DSA or DSA endorsed congressional candidates currently in Congress. There is just 1, 2. Now we're talking about 4 times as many, 8 candidates who have won 2026 primaries, and 7 of those are favorites to win in the fall, win in the general election. So the Democratic Socialists of America's ranks in Congress, they are definitely growing, getting larger. Look, Democratic Socialists.
Well, last thing we want for a socialist anything is to be getting larger. Thank you, Harriet, and thank you for your stunning analysis. All right, now we're going to have a little bit of fun with this one. So, y'all, I know it's really crazy, and no one could ever see this. It's the nature of numbers. No one can see it coming, When they go from 2 to 8, I just want to point out, it's a pretty big problem for those pesky lefties like Hakeem Jeffries who say he's going to have the majority. You know why? Because the majority's not going to be either side greater than 8. So they're going to have to acquiesce to the socialist and make sure they jump in bed with the socialist in their big tent. Hope it's a big bed. It's going to be a bit uncomfy. But yeah, don't worry. The copy paste will get theirs in a second. I told you they'd show up. But it is interesting how now all of a sudden 8, it's now not an anomaly anymore. Now it's a thing. It's almost like they've completed the takeover. Because now that you have 8 of them is enough to make you more socialist, or you don't get the speakership, or you don't get that piece of legislation. This is how it works. Yeah, if you thought 2026 was the main show, nope, it's the appetizer, because it's going to get a lot more fun once these lefties start exerting their power in the Democrats, whether they have power or not. It's grabbeth thy popcorn, as we like to say. But one thing I can't abide is the very unfortunate copy paster who wanders in lost, lonely every night, looking for friendship. He will not find it here because scruffians, it is time. Assemble, grab your finest emojis, notch it, fire it, send it, let's frickin' go. I want you guys to break the record eventually. I believe in you, but scruffians, it is time to deploy. So no matter where you are in this great big world, make sure you're sending copy pasters directly where they belong, to the shadows. Think Gandalf, thou shalt not pass. That's the kind of vibe we're going to send out right now. So you do that. I'm going to keep on dispelling propaganda, again said Gandalf with the Balrog. I'm a nerd, it's okay. And we're going to get back to this. So you do that, I'll do this. Let's get right back into the next piece of the appetizer portion. Oh my goodness. You know, just when you thought you had pandering, man, we thought we had reached a peak pander. It turns out we didn't, because even Abdul El Sayed, you know what? I can't even set this up properly without getting in trouble. So let's just let him do. You guys can know where I'm going with this. A little concerning here, Abdul. What you got? Okay, it's kind of taking a page right out of Nancy Pelosi's book.
I mean, why don't you just make it just happen there? The guy saying you're an Arab, you don't care about black folks. You know, I hate to say this, but I continue to hear it from older black folks, people like some of Denzel's colleagues telling me that they're uncommitted for you.
The question's not important.
You know, there's been an effort, I think, to divide people against each other. And unfortunately, you see that the consequence of that. To tell us that some group or another group have to be counterposed because there's not enough for all of us. I am Arab, I'm also African. My family immigrated to this country from Egypt. I'm proud of my African heritage.
Oh, how are you? Hey guys, did you know? This is phenomenal. I love every second of this. It's important to know. We've got to keep up with the sacred cows of what we can and can't say. This is really important. By the way, guys, the copy paster is not taking it lightly this evening. You better engage. This is your chance. You're sitting at 500 chats per minute. Let's go, baby. 1,200 is the record. But anyway, did you guys know there's not a limit on the amount of people that can pull out an African card? What? I had no idea that Egyptians could come over to the United States, and then when they're trying to pander to the black vote, who's like, we don't like socialists because, nah, I'm good, fam. And then they go, but no, it's okay. I'm African too. See? It looks icky. For some reason, I don't feel like if you're going to parse out, this is so wild, we're even dealing with this. Okay, so I don't think that it's going to go too well if you're trying to parse out victimhood status between African Americans, Egyptian Americans, but the commonality there is they're both from Africa, so we're the same, right? Yeah, no, not really. Not really. But I do love the attempted pander. Oh, I love me a good pander. Because what is an election season with Democrats and socialists without a good pander, you know? I mean, do South Africans get to claim this privilege too? I'm just curious. Or is that only for like certain select African, historical... I was just asking for a friend. Maybe my loyal lefties can tell me when the copy paster is getting smoked in the comments. So, now let's go on to the next one. This one is very, very... aligned with a lot of the things that we talked about today. Guys, I tell you what, I think we're onto something. Because Ben Shapiro just posted this with this video. I think it's a really great post. Let's see here. Florida just proved once again that the Republicans are not too online, which is in line with what we've said earlier in our previous two videos, and then also what we're going to talk about a little bit more tonight. And that the woke right operation is a failure in the real world. So again, reinforcing that concept that we've been talking about, which is the online woke X side of things for the right, the woke right, the Zoomerwaffen, Podcastistan. It doesn't translate to anything valuable except clicks for themselves, which is on X, which is ironic because there's no monetization there really at all anyway. But if you go that route, seems like Ben and I are aligned. He didn't call me, I promise. And that Tucker Carlson is basically the Jim Cramer of political endorsements, which that's just a little backstab, but is kind of accurate and funny. So this is the whole point. Everyone's seen it. The emperor has no clothes. Everybody who's in the game of doing these different grifting things with the internet for clicks and X, they're getting influenced by online presence, which is not translating to real world. So More on that in a second. But I just want to point out there, Ben Shapiro seems to have picked it up as well. But now we go into the follow-up of the CNN health freezing moment. You know what's always awkward? And you do love it. You'd love to see it. When a CNN anchor's father is from Cuba and they escaped socialist Cuba and communist Cuba, and then the DSA soy boys get on there and they tell him how great Cuba is, it always goes good. Hey, Boris from CNN, walk me through this. Guys, seriously, grab your popcorn. I want to hear you in the comments more than you just punishing this copy paster. Oh man, this is, it's a hell of a time to be alive.
Have you spent much time speaking to Cubans who have fled the island because of political persecution, who endured years under the Castro regime, Ashik?
I know plenty of people who are, especially second and third generation Cubans, who are finding things out for themselves and wanting to open up, more open communication, open exchange with Cubans. And
have you spoken to people that were politically persecuted? Have you spoken to people who were politically persecuted by the Castro regime, who fled that island because of it?
I have, and there are people who, whatever critiques they might have of the Cuban government, they don't think that an economic blockade and military intervention is the way to do it.
Have you...
Guys, such soy boy tactics. I actually have, and whilst they don't like anything they're doing, in fact, they're all, international war criminals and mass murderers, but you know what? They don't approve of how it's being done. Oh, okay. So you want to sit there and complain and be upset, but you don't want to do anything because you're a soy boy. Okay, sounds good, and I'll say it all day long because that's exactly what it is. But anyway, I noticed something in this clip, and I said, that's interesting. Boris seems very invested in this emotionally, which I'm down for. Listen, you can't blame a CNN progressive far lefty for being in the tank for progressive and far lefties for like 10, 15, 20 years. And then all of a sudden when socialism actually gets on the door and it's like, no, we're actually going to take over your entire constitution, destroy that bad boy, the Senate, open the borders. And then you get a little animated. I'm going to be honest with you. The time is late, but better late than never, I guess, Boris. Welcome to the party. Watch this. If this doesn't tell you why he's a little cranky, this
your criticism before.
This might be it. Here we go. All right, watch this. Same thing, same soy boy, same Boris, same bat channel.
I get your criticism of foreign policy. As I said, it's not an uncommon one. But lauding Fidel Castro is a different story. You talk about what things were like before the revolution in Cuba. I'll give you a personal example. My grandfather was a revolutionary in Cuba during that time. He was affected by a previous dictator, Fulgencio Batista, having his friends disappeared in the street for speaking their minds. My grandfather found that revolution, hoping to bring democracy to Cuba. And then what happened? Fidel Castro locked my grandfather up, sentenced to 20 years for doing what you're doing now on live TV, for speaking his mind, for expressing himself freely, for trying to organize politically. So I wonder, again, how you think that lands with people who suffered under that dictatorship, who now you are trying to court as voters when your organization comes out and lauds 100 years of Castro. I don't think it would land well with them, Ashik.
We're seeing many people in the United States who are seeing who are struggling under massive inequality in the United States.
Great job, Ashik. You really nailed that one. See, this is what happens when you actually get real world examples and like real lived experiences of people who actually lived under socialism and actually lived under communism and, had this thing called personal experience when all your little perfect world socialist theories just go right out the freaking window because they kill everybody. Yeah, and then it's like, well, we all inequality and stuff, be jealous. Okay. I think we see where this one's going. You can see yourselves out. But they're not going to do that. That parasite is going to continue to try to eat the Democrats from within. And I will show you more on that in one moment because they had a little bit of a backfire right after this Super Chat session. We are going to make sure that everyone is heard. And it happens every time we go through the breaks. Hold on a second. Jeff Spicer, $2 just came in. Said, I'm from Eden, North Carolina, Braden. Well, good. I hope it is indeed as described. And Jeff Spicer again with a $5 super chat. Having a good day as an adult is what? Hold on a second. Is got paid, ate something good, nobody annoyed me, went home, sleep. You're living a life, Jeff Spicer. I'll tell you that. Jeff Spicer again with another $5 super chat. If you ever want to give up, don't. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, Jeff. Sorry. No butt hair comments. Can't do it. I draw the line there, but I appreciate your support of the channel, and you're kind of funny. I'm just not going to read it. Okay, let's keep on trucking. We're going to keep on doing this. Guys, we are cruising at 100 chat rate per minute. Thank you so much for being here. Who wants to talk about New York being real upset about an increase in taxes? Like, who would have seen this coming? I know it. You hate to see it. I mean, I don't, but some do. Mayor Zoran, right? A communist with a smile. You know, this guy. Yeah, it turns out that, the Democrats just, they wanted him to show up and explain all the taxes and the court case and the taxes. And he's like, yeah, nah, fam. Nope, not going to do that. So just eat it. Well, what do you know? Let's talk about some Democrats in New York. This is not the main part of the show, but I do think it's right up y'all's alley. I think it's been curated just for your enjoyment. Here we go. Mayor, what's going on, Fox News? Tell us, go hard or go home about controversial property tax hearing. I'm intrigued. You intrigued? Let's get it. Or the white circle of death. Hold on. You have a lovely room of death.
To prove that they live here. You know, they're not the only ones who are upset. Today, some Democratic city council members bucked Big Apple leadership, accusing the city of a botched rollout in a nearly 3-hour-long public oversight hearing.
Every New Yorker should be appalled by this underlying principle. The expansion of socialist state power rarely begins with government announcing that it intends to control the lives of its citizens.
First, the city published a list of nearly 1 million properties that could potentially be subject to the tax, and then about 17,000 people received letters warning they could ultimately be on the hook. City councilors and some homeowners saying today that they were left feeling exposed, even doxxed.
My residents in my district shouldn't have to hire lawyers to prove they live in their own home.
You know what? Okay, I'm sorry. Put a pin in that. He didn't show up. Hold on. Sorry, I interrupted the flow. Let's get back to it.
No one from the Mamdani administration was at today's hearing. The mayor is vacationing upstate, and City Hall says due to the ongoing court battle, no one would testify in person. And
all right, so let me get this straight. You put a tax on 1 million people, and then you say because you have a second home, so therefore you're obviously evil. And then the Democrats, when they realized that the person that they voted in, commie with a smile over here, Zoran Mamdani, when they realized that their constituents all just got doxxed by the very state or city government of which they helped vote in and hey, they helped create, now it's all of a sudden an outrage. I'm sorry, did you miss the exit signs that said socialist here? How about their own verbiage that said socialist here? How about the soak the rich, we're going to tax you immediately signs? Missed those too? Or did you just think it was going to be those mean, evil Republicans, and in which case it was perfectly fine because after all, they're complicit with the fascism? Yeah, see, this is not the way it works. And the funny part about this entire thing is these dill holes in the Democratic city or whatever that was, city council, whatever meeting that was, they actually are like, wait a minute, what? Who would have seen this coming? I don't know. There's only about 150 years of this precedent in multiple different countries. We have the internet and everything. It's very, very simple. But yeah, no, I'm personally shocked that a communist government would go after the wealthy and the rich and then dox their their list of home ownership and assets because they never do that against gun owners or anything. By the way, my gun owners in the crowd will fully understand what I'm referring to because they did it again. And once before with anyone who owned a concealed carry permit in the state of New York. And actually all the handguns too. So this is not like it's a new thing. It's really funny watching these people be like, wait, what? I thought you were going to get those guys, but you're getting us. Did you think Republicans still live in New York City? You did it wrong. All right, let's keep on going. He was definitely vacationing in a second home, of course. And, New York City needs to pay for everything. Duh, socialist, kind of socialist. I will get to all super chats in one moment because, you know what? Let's have another one. Look, more fallout. This is so insane. Who could have seen this coming? I don't know. I'm blindsided myself.
a hit list of the So how the administration published more than 900,000 names and addresses showed me that this is how the administration feels about homeowners in this great city, that this is something that we need to be ashamed of.
Again, did you not see all the campaign signs? Are you daft? To use an older fun word? I could use new ones, but I get in trouble for those. But like, you're surprised? This is like the loyal lefties when they get in the audience and they're like, yeah, well, everything's bad. You're dumb and you're gonna lose. I'm like, well, I can prove that incorrect. It doesn't matter. It's so you're just worldview is just, oh, Comrade Mom Donnie is so amazing. Wait a minute, now it's going after your people and going after you, and now they've done something wrong for being having two homes. Oh, that's unconscionable. Who can believe it? I can't. I don't know. It's like the socialists are like putting in a platform and stuff. Wait until you see the rest of it, Cupcake. Tune into the channel a little bit more. I'll show you all of it because fighting socialists is priority number one. It's kind of like this, hey, we got some issues over here, but we're not crazy socialist. We'll work on these while those guys go away. I'm just saying. Got to vote like you're losing, grind like you're losing, people. I don't want to look at that guy's face anymore. He just irritates me. I just don't like him, people. I don't know what to do sometimes. I just have to look away. I do, by the way, in full transparency, I look at this stuff like 11 hours a day. It's like an obsession. I'm just like, oh, look, another socialist. Let's get him. Anyway, back to these super chats. Where were we? Jeff Spicer with a $10 super chat. A strange part of adulthood. No one tells you. So we're all homesick for a place and time that no longer exists that we can never revisit. Well, yeah, it's kind of, metaphysical, but I'm down with it. Jeff again. Jeff, what you up to, Jeff? You all right, that guy? If you ever want to give up, I've already read that one and said I can't. Sorry. Giggles the Clown with a $2 super chat. Behind every screaming goat, there is a communist. Well, maybe they like those fainting goats. Like the screaming lambs. That'll keep it PG. Robin with a $5 super chat says, was he vacationing in a second home? Probably. Jeff Spicer again with a $5. You were a ghost driving a meat-coated skeleton made from stardust, riding a rock, hurtling through space. Jeff's on one right now, guys. Jeff is feeling it. Farm Mom Scruffette with a $10 super chat. Mom Donnie's wife, Evita, is becoming an albatross. She will leave him when he tanks. Modern women, go figure. Thoughts? I have no idea about the I can't say that phrase. About the goings-on inside the first family of New York City. I got nothing. I don't care. It's my limit. The limit of my scope is, oh, look, a communist. Anyway. Oh, man, that's that. Lori Pipkin with a $10 super chat. And they're going to tax themselves for all the houses in Mom Donnie's family. Of course they're not. Mark Long with a $5 says, 219 zipper. Oh, wow. Caliber donation. The Norden bomb sight wasn't perfect, but you were using it with extreme finesse. Well, thank you. I appreciate that and appreciate the historical reference. Jeff Spicer again, $2. That's why people call me the Spice Master. Oh, Jeff. Margaret Holm with a $2 super chat. Mom Donnie, us. What? Mom Donnie. Okay, it's Mom Donnie is an epic eye roll. Make sure we win. That's right. And Douglas Vandal with a $1.99. Mom Donnie's second home is Gracie Mansion. Pay up. That seems suspect. Let's get back into this. I got to show you how socialists are catching it right in the face. All right, so I got to catch you up on this. We did a video earlier today. Went well. You guys liked it. Really enjoyed it. I love doing these types of videos with you guys, but it was all about something happening online. Okay. If you didn't see, let me set this up a little bit and I'll kind of show, I'm not going to go into the full detail. You can watch the video from prior, but I'm going to do a cursory reminder. So one of the things that we talked about today that was a really important piece, honestly, it's like a lot of people that are starting to hit on it. Like I just showed you Matt Morse's post. I did a video with that in it today, and then I did the Ben Shapiro at the beginning of this one. There is a reality that is sinking in, and it begs a further question. And this is kind of like a little mini monologue, so bear with me. Let me hear you in the comments if you agree. Where we're at right now is all the people who were attempting to drive the conversation online were doing two things. One, they were ignoring everyone in the real world. And then everyone online, in my opinion, this is all a subjective opinion, were being driven by people outside of the United States or bot farms. One of those two things. So what was happening was it was reinforcing a behavior which made them go further down the rabbit hole. Podcastistan is a really good example of this. Earlier today, I did a video where I showed you Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, all those people. Same pocket, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all that. I personally believe all of that is in the same vein of what's going on here. Now, the brutal, crazy, crucial reality is, and it has a caveat follow-up, and this is the most important part, the follow-up. But that brutal caveat is, if it's not resonating, then what's it worth? What's it worth if you have 50 million impressions on X every month? If no one votes and you change no one's mind and no one cares, and it even goes further to say that elections aren't reflecting anything of what you're doing, what's your opinion worth, or what's your platform worth, or et cetera, et cetera? It asks a lot of very uncomfy questions. In fact, if you have all these different endorsements of the ulterior candidate and they all lose by large margins, it also reinforces both things. The view thing, the bot thing, and the loss of confidence thing. Those are three things very important in our world. But then you go into the next one. And this is the most important part. And I'll show you a few things here in a second. I find this fascinating. We're in a position right now where all of our discourse online and all the intelligentsia and all the polls and all the posters and the X and the influence and all the people, the who's who of public opinion, all have no clue what's going on. And you can tell me over in the comments in the chat if you agree with that, but I don't know many people who won't. Because what's happening over and over and over and over again with multiple different evidence points is that everybody who is endorsed by the online way online woke right side of things is not getting endorsed. The people who are online on the far left woke side of things, see how there's a woke tie-in on both? The far left woke side of things, they are getting elected because the Democrats are succumbing to the socialist pressure. The far right stuff has an immune system. It's kind of kicking it out. Because last night, there was a lot of people who were very problematic who got das Boot. Yeah? So, when you look at this, you bring up the question of, then what's actually going on? That is an incredibly important point for us to discuss. Because one of the things that we consistently say on this channel, you and I have had multiple conversations. Jump over in the chat, let me see some sort of emoji or something, a plain 100% thumbs up, whatever. If you remember us talking about this, we have been focusing very, very hard together in our conversations around we are being propagandized unlike you've ever been before. You are getting a lot of things that are completely and totally not true and completely and totally false. I'm showing you and linking everything in the description, all the counter information that you need to actually prove all of those things false. And then all the polling is completely wrong on the left side. If they don't know where they're going and they can't chart a course on the far lefty bill because they don't know where the public opinion is because the polls are crap, and you can't gauge anything where it's going on X because the conversation is artificially manipulated. Well, if that's the case, then no one knows anything about where anything is going, which would make you back to a default position of vote like you're losing, grind like you're losing, leave everything on the field, you never know, be involved and share this stuff out. Because every single election that we've had outside of the midterms where there's been a Republican insurgent opportunity, there has been a 100% fail rate on all the X and all the influencer supporting endorsements. That's significant. Then you had all of the polling in the left in Wisconsin and Michigan that lost or missed by like 20 points on both Abdul El Sayed and Francesca Hong. This is a big thing. They won't act like it, but they're starting to pick it up. Okay, now that's the backstory. That's what Matt Morse here is talking about. And he's doing the same thing just like Ben Shapiro up here at the front. Where'd that go? Just like this one. Ben Shapiro is saying the exact same thing. Guys, I'm telling you, this is what's going on. Where the next steps to this go are, okay, then who has any idea what's going on? Because it's clear no one does. Again, back to the point. Matt Morse says the same thing. Ben Shapiro says the same thing. Here's a perfect example. This is James Fishbach. James Fishbach last night was supposed to be the insurgent candidate from the people like Tucker Carlson, I'll show you the list in a second. A bunch of people who were the alternative right? They were the new standard bearers. MAGA is dead. Trump is dead. Trump is gone. Everything's gone. No. Everything else is old and stupid. This is the new hotness. Well, this is about the fourth or fifth person that has been down this road and has lost. So that means there's no value in that endorsement. There's no value in that highlight. And there's no value in that spotlight. It doesn't translate. So again, it begs the question, where's it coming from? If you continue on this, there's some more examples. There's two other people who also got their butts kicked handily. It's not working. Something's missing. And I'm going somewhere with this. Bear with me. I'm not trying to bash on anybody. This right here, same thing. Tucker Carlson, Sneeko, Nicholas Fuentes, Alex Jones, Owen Schroyer. All of them are, Trump is no longer one of us. He has betrayed all of us. All of them are MAGA is dead. And all of them are, new right, whatever. Marjorie Taylor Greene version of just blah. So, again, if you've got all of these people with millions upon millions upon millions of impressions, but you're getting your butt kicked. That guy came in third place with 177,000 votes, and Byron Donalds had 800, almost 900,000. The next guy had almost 500,000. Something's wrong. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And when I say that it's all propaganda and you need to be involved and vote like you're losing and grind like you're losing, this is why. Because the common perception turns out to be a little bit manipulated. I can't tell you where and how, but I can look at overall basic reporting and basic observation and basic results and go, something doesn't match. All right. Now let's talk about something else here. Same kind of concept. Again, I want to highlight this. It's not translating. One interesting outcome tonight, with as much talk as we saw online and endorsements from large platforms for Fishbach, it's pretty eye-opening to see a Democratic socialist progressive, Dana Foster, get more people to vote for her than James. Dana reportedly only raised $30,000, and her votes were split by another DSA-friendly progressive who got roughly 120,000 votes. We'll see how the vote settles, but the PAC spent $2 million and they underperformed. This is what I'm talking about. Dana Foster is in the middle right there. Let me zoom in. That's Dana Foster. She got 187,000 votes in the Florida primary for governor. 187,000 votes on $30,000 investment, and she split with the different person, Dottie Joseph. If you look right over here on the Florida governor one for Republicans, James Fishbach was at 177 for spending $2 million. When you look at this, and you had all of these endorsements, and this is why I'm doing this, when you have all of these endorsements, and you have all of these constant pushes, and you have all of these people who are saying, do this thing, do that thing, do this thing, and you're spending $2 million, but you don't break more than somebody who spent $30,000 and got more votes than you. Something does not add up, and that's what I'm trying to convey to you. Something makes no sense here in the system. That's why we need to keep on grinding and voting, because you never know what's really going on. It's truly wild. When you look at this kind of stuff like I do, you just go, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right, because your gut always goes with, go with your gut. Your sniff test is very, very valid. And tell me, am I landing this plane? Because, I really want to know if I'm landing this plane. Because this is an important thing. I'll get to the super chats after this next tab. But understand, this is exactly at least what's indicating happening. Just a guy. Just a friendly scruffster. No big deal. And here's more evidence of the exact same thing. So how, again, in wrapping this little portion, then we'll go to the next super chat portion or break. How is this possible? Because the polling is broken, because the X influence isn't what they promised it was. The influencers aren't moving people's opinions. So what's happening? I've got a lot more on that coming up. I'm really diving into that. I'm putting my nose to the grindstone on that one. But objectively and in a non-biased manner, there is no way that you can say what we're looking at with the tens, hundreds of millions of X impressions, with all the influencers being the insurgent candidate, and with everything that is going down, you're missing polling on the left and overstating the left, and then on the right, you're completely having no effect, but the polling is correct. something's wrong. Something's very wrong. I don't know. To me, it's indicative of something is afoot. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and my overdeveloped sense of Sherlocking. You never know. But hopefully you guys are enjoying it either way. Let's get into these super chats because I don't know, something just don't smell right. It just don't smell right. Jeff Spicer with a $10 super chat. Remember, without the Constitution, America would dissolve into weak competing states lacking a president, unified military, single currency, or guaranteed civil rights. This is the last for now. Okay. Well, that is true, though. Scrufftastic Voyage with a $1.99. Why did Dems think they would be excluded from NYC? Because they thought that the power they were wielding was going to go against their opponents, not them. Because these same people, and this is a really good point, actually great super chat. Because the psychology of a Democrat, the psychology of a leftist, it's this in a nutshell. Socialist progressive comes along and says, I'm going to tax the rich because they're not paying their fair share. Now, you know how much money you make, but he doesn't. So when he says tax the rich, you over here, who always feels like you don't have enough, because that's a human emotion, go, yeah, that's right, tax the rich. Get them. I'm not rich. You get those rich people. They are mean. And then homeboy socialist gets into power and goes, by the way, the numbers that we consider rich is right around 500,000. And this person goes, wait a minute, I make 6 and have a second home. Oh my God, I'm the problem. Now I have an issue. The reason is simple. They thought they weren't rich and they were targeting other rich people, but it turns out they were rich the whole time and they just had their heads up their butts. That's it. That's exactly what happens. You're going to be weaponized against you, those evil rich people, but not me because I'm not a rich person. And then the guy wielding the power says, yeah, you are. And you're like, ah, crap. That's exactly how it works every single freaking time. Anyway, that's why they put random arbitrary numbers on it. That's why Obama was like, if you're making less than $400,000 a year, you're not rich. Same thing. That's the reason why. And it aligns perfectly with the biggest voting blocks. This is not difficult. These people are villains. Just accept it and you'll see the way. But great super chat, Scruff-tastic. Pain Mystic with a $5 super chat says, has no one seen a movie from the 80s? Soon we will have to send Snake Plissken. I hope not. Metal Gear Solid, right? Eddie Baker with a $5 super chat. Brandon, remember when the left was complaining about Project 2025 only incessantly? Why do the Democrats endorse DSA? Because it's not about anything but power. You have to know how these people think. And wait until I show you Jessica Tarlov in about two tabs. It's going to show you everything you need to see. And again, still big super secret thing I'm going to show you at the end of this that no one else has seen. So my scruffians will like it. But at the very end of this. But you have to understand, when you're looking at what these people do, they don't care about any of the platitudes that they say. That's why it shifts all the time. You haven't heard them say a word about climate change, the thing that's going to end the entire planet for a while, because no one believes it's important in the population. So all of a sudden, the thing that was an existential crisis and threat to the United States and everyone on the planet isn't anymore because no one else cares about it. You'd think that if it was an existential crisis, they wouldn't buy properties on the beach and they would continue to talk about it even if it wasn't profitable. But they stop. This is Leftyville 101. They do the same thing with anything and everything. They never talk about abortion. The Dobbs decision comes down. Now it's all abortion all the time. I mean, it's the way they work. They're all illegal immigration is the right and just thing to do. We don't need to have borders, and it's an inhumane system. And then they find out that the American people want to have borders and want to have immigration and ICE and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, now they're for a secure border after they blew it open for 4 years. Guys, it's the way they work. They just want power. That's why. That's the answer. That is the answer, Eddie. Brooke Ruff with a $10 super chat. 2 things. Tony Kennett Karen Bass using taxpayers to multiply contributions to her campaign. That's actually a California thing. That's not just her. Insane, indeed. Also that the people making bots for Candace had reached out to him. Crazy times. Well, I'm not gonna allude to that one, because that one at the very end there, candidly, that fire needs to consume all its own oxygen. And that's really the only way that it continues to thrive, is more oxygen. So I'll be over here. Chris Kitchen with a $9.99. Braden, we all know you like to fish. I really do like to fish. I'm very excited for the fall fishing season. Deer season is quickly approaching, and I was just wondering if you like to hunt with a bow or a gun. I actually have a bow. I haven't really gotten into it immensely. I would. It's a time thing. I love hunting with firearms. It's awesome. I'm kind of impartial. I don't know. I have a lot of choices. I just like it. I just like it. I mean, I've hunted with my AR-10 that I custom built. Really cool. I've hunted with my bolt actions, also really cool. I've hunted with my ARs that I built, chambered in 300 blackout and 25-45 sharps, also really cool. I mean, I've hunted with specialty rounds that are bolt actions that are suppressed. That's how I got my elk. I mean, all the things. I do love all of it. But bows is not something that I've really spent a lot of time in. It's more so firearms. Missy Wells with a $5 super chat. They say only 30 to 40% of Americans vote in the primaries when they can. Vouch for 8 people. It's no wonder they sometimes pull ahead. Talking about the Project Veritas clip that was just released. Lori Pipkin with a $5 super chat. Yes, send in Snake Plissken. He'll take care of it. Definitely a Metal Gear Solid reference. Y'all, we are having a great time. Great time. So thus far, we are only 40 minutes in. We're at 2,300 concurrent viewers with a solid chat rate and an amazing attendance. Thank you guys all for being here. It is now time to get into a whole lot more fun things you never thought that you were going to hear them say on those pesky lefties. It's weird how this mental crisis is happening. Like, who are we? I don't know. It's a really great time to be on the conservative side of the aisle because everything's awesome over here. We got a few bumps and bruises, but we're ironing them out. Do I want to do this one first? No, I don't. Executive decision. We're going to move this around a little bit. I'll go back to all these. I want to show you something else. Here we go. Jessica Tarlow. By the way, she resigned from the 5 on Fox. I don't know. Something about Trump kicked her off or something. But I want to show you this, and this is a really important thing to say in the front of this segment. I want you to pay attention to what she says here. This is really, really, this is indicative of a whole lot of explanation. Here we go.
Last thing I want to say about Vindman, then I want to hop to Alaska. I wonder if this is also part of the end of the traditional resist lib campaigning. I hope so too. I don't want to talk about 2020. I don't want to talk about impeachments anymore. Like, we're so far past it. And I think it really sent a clear message, really to the Beltway, and maybe California a bit, that, talking about your testimony or prosecuting Trump or whatever it is, like Dan Goldman as well, who's my congressman, and he lost for a bevy of reasons. But I think part of it also is that there was this feeling that these kind of like superheroes were going to help us actually defeat Trump, and it never came to fruition, and that we got to try something different.
Okay, I could do an entire video just on that. I mean, with the introduction portion up here with CNN berating them, that's a good one. And then now Jessica Tarlow. Now, if you don't know who this young lady is one of the Democrat token voices on the 5. Like, she doesn't have a lot of good points because she parrots the Democrat talking points a whole lot. But do you understand that what she just said was we've got to get rid of TDS? She didn't say anything else. I'm translating this. I'm briefly boiling it down. But she actively just said, we don't need to talk about what you did in a 2020 in an indictment. We don't need to talk about who did what on an impeachment panel. We don't need to talk about Donald Trump because he is on the way out. All the insane craziness that you are seeing everywhere is because it's all jockeying to prepare for the exit of Donald Trump. This is why I have said multiple times, unabashedly, very firmly, they're not going to attempt to impeach him again. They're going to bring in socialists, which is a lot worse, but they're not going to attempt to impeach him again for the simple reason that there is no return on the political investment. Why would you impeach him for a third time, make him look like a targeted victim again, and still not get him because you don't have the Senate, and You've got an election that's going to poison the well, that you guys still are doing this like a bunch of children. It doesn't make sense politically at all. They're not going to do impeachment. They're going to do everything else they can, but they won't do impeachment. That's what Jessica Tarlov just said. And she also just said, we were waiting on superheroes to save us from the villain Trump, and they never showed up. Okay, well, that's pathetic. This is the whole point. They demonized Donald Trump to the point where he is a super evil villain. He's Lex Luthor. And they're looking around forever for that magical Superman, but never realizing that all the things that they created about Lex Luthor were not true. That's the point. They fell for their own propaganda. That's why they absolutely love James Comey with his 86, 46, or 47 stuff. They love Alexander Vindman. I don't know if we'll vote for him, but they love Alexander Vindman. They love the socialists because they're going to get them power back. You have to see this through their lens of optics. They need power or they will no longer be relevant. They're already, in my opinion, irrelevant. But still, the point is, in their own minds, they need power or they won't be irrelevant, or they will be irrelevant, excuse me. She just said time to move on. That's what this election in Florida was all about right here, because Alex Vindman, if you're not familiar, telling you the inside skinny, what lefties are going to do before they do it. You're looking at the one guy who was the epitome of I stood up to Donald Trump, and he got smoked when he was underspent by a 16th in Florida. Now they have an absolute socialist, and she's going to get her butt whooped because #Florida. But you need to see through the lens of what they're going to do now, and that's why I'm showing you this. Now is the beginning point where they start to transition away from TDS, driving everything, and they are going to start embracing socialism to replace that anger and energy. They have to have a hatred source. They're like the Sith. They have to have hatred. So if they have hatred, then they just move it to another area. That's it. The target becomes our capitalist system, our democracy, which is not a democracy, it's a constitutional republic, and then Republicans. That's it. It's going to move from Donald Trump to that. We're no longer the vindicated, hero rising from the ashes amongst the common folk, the diamond in the rough, straight up Aladdin style. Now we're just the common man arriving as socialism, straight up French Revolution. Y'all, they are lost in the wilderness and they have no clue where to go. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm completely here for it. Vote like you're losing, grind like you're losing, leave everything on the field. Let's get back to the main point of this. And this is all about the Vindman and, I don't even remember her name, socialist. I don't even care about her name, honestly. But watch this. This is on CNN. Angie Nixon, that's her name. This is on CNN. They just said, we went from it was going to be a Republican to now there's not a chance in hell it's going to be a Democrat. Not my words. CNN's words. I'm telling you guys, you have an opportunity that everyone's trying to hide from you. Here we go.
Bennett, the Executive Vice President of Public Affairs and co-founder of Third Way, which recently announced a $15 million campaign to take on the progressive left. Matt, first of all, describe your emotions last night between the hours of 7 and 8:10 as the results were coming in the Florida Senate primary.
Yeah, my emotions all season have been very mixed, let's just say, and that's how we felt again last night. Jared Moskowitz won easily in his race against a DSA member, which puts a House race very much on the board for Democrats. He could win that. It's going to be tough. But had the DSA member won that primary, it would have been impossible. And in the Senate race, it was always going to be difficult to win that, but now probably impossible.
But what does it tell you in a state?
Okay. Again, you guys know how I like to pick apart little parts of sentences and parts of what they're saying. I want to bring to your general attention and overall wonderment and merriment, Jared Moskowitz is a sitting House representative member in the state of Florida. He's a sitting Democrat House member. Again, I want you to fully understand where we've been for the Democrats for the last 9 months. It's such a blue wave that they're going to knock the moon out of orbit. Right? We're actually concerned. Astronomers are freaking out. But then at the exact same time, now all of a sudden, Florida is now impossible. And Jared Moskowitz's seat is up in the air. He might win. He's a sitting Democrat congressman. What It doesn't make sense. Abdul, and I'm going to show you this in a second. Abdul El Sayed went from a deep blue Senate deep blue locked in blue seat for the Democrats in Michigan. Now it's a toss up. Florida moves safe red. Do you see all the movement is going away from these people? You're witnessing all the propaganda fall apart. It's really wild. I hope I'm articulating it well, because these things this is not normal. It's all the propaganda effect. All that stuff on X and all the polling I was telling you about, it's falling apart and laying bare, and now you're found with, oh my God, it's a crap sandwich. That's what you're looking at. All right, let's keep on going. I got some more stuff for you. This is a 3-minute clip. This is one of those pesky centrists that the lefties hate.
State like Florida, where the Democratic Socialists can be outspent like at least 10-1 in that candidate, but still win.
Look, voters are very angry, and they have a right to be angry. Trump is doing horrible things to this country, and Democrats are apoplectic about that, and all Democrats are from every corner of the party. What they're doing is kind of flipping over the tables. They're super pissed, and they're taking on anyone that they view as the establishment, and it's much harder for people like that to win. So Vindman, even though he's not an elected official, had the backing of Washington, and that was kind of the kiss of death.
So if you are, as part of this third way,
Okay, more. Again, this is a really good segment. I might do a full breakdown of this with some supporting documents here in the next day or two. But again, it doesn't make any sense. If the answer is people are just pissed and angry and they're throwing a temper tantrum, and that's why they're putting in Democratic Socialists to piss off the other Democrats in the establishment, all right. Are you throwing tables over? Cool. But that's not what's being couched. What's being couched is acquiescence. It's, we have a bigger tent. We are the kindest people on the planet. We are so super sweet and super nice. You're going to love everything we do. Abolish the Senate? Yes. Big tent. No border? The biggest of tents. No presidency? Oh my God, our tent floweth over. It's really wild. It's really, really wild. But it points to something pretty crazy. Okay. So I'm going to come back to this clip. I probably will do a long form on that. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do that real quick. Let's jump over here. I want to show you a few things, because again, it's all about the shift. I really got to put that in there too. That's a good one. I got to revisit that one. This is all a shift away to this. Okay, I'm going to show you the new clips. I've got old ones that I did. Let me cancel out the old ones. Hold on a second. Not that one, because that one's too crazy. I'll cancel out that one. And I'll cancel out. Now we're good. Okay, this is what they are actually putting in place. Do you support open borders to the United States? Again, this is in Florida.
And what about another national position, which is the free movement of people, which the DSA means open borders? They say that's what that means. Do you support open borders into the United States?
I support a comprehensive and clear pathway to citizenship for folks. I believe that Border Patrol should make sure that they are securing the border. I believe, though, that there needs to be a clear, comprehensive, and compassionate pathway to citizenship, especially for folks like Haitians and Venezuelans and Syrians.
And what?
Okay. So that's dodge number one, open borders. Let's go to the next one. How about another dodge?
Yeah, for sure. So thank you for that question. I have been traveling all across the state of Florida having
care for all and free universal child care and pre-K. How are you suggesting taxpayers pay for that?
Yeah, for sure. So thank you for that question. I have been traveling all across the state of Florida having conversations with folks. And what is evident is that everyone wants the same things, right? To be healthy, prosperous, and safe. And a lot of folks, it crosses party lines as it relates to universal child care and Medicare for all. And how do we pay for that? Actually, Medicare for all, we're already spending the amount we would be paying for Medicare for all right now, even while folks are still paying for co-pays and deductibles and co-insurance.
Okay, rambling dodge. Yeah, they got a real good chance. By the way, impossible is the correct term. How about drag shows with kids?
I don't understand, there's no sexualization at a drag show. It's just people dressing up and singing and performing. I've taken my children to drag shows, and it's fun, it's entertainment, it's wholesome entertainment, and it's nothing wrong. It's just like I don't get it.
Okay, well, I hope you get it. What the hell is that? Whatever. So 2 dodges and some kids at drag shows. We're batting wonderfully well, Democrats in Florida. How about Morning Joe? He's clearly real cranky about this. Watch this.
I'm going to ask you where you stand on defunding the police, abolishing prisons, and opening up the border again. Do you support any of those propositions?
So what I support is making sure that we have law and order in this country. And that starts with making sure there's a full release of the Epstein files and that we hold people accountable.
I'm going to ask you where you stand.
Okay, that's dodge number 3 plus drag shows for kids. How about we get any more? Again, this is what they're doing. This is what they're fully embracing. So that's just the beginning. Y'all, that's who they put in place over Vindman. That is what the guy was talking about. Where'd he go? What this guy was talking about? Nailed it. What this guy was talking about was, well, they're really upset at establishment, so we're just kicking over the tables and we're just doing all of this. Are you listening to what's happening right now? The interesting part about this is you aren't going to win with someone just to punish the Democrats. That's the point. That's why I've been saying the whole time, the Senate's not in play. The House is a question. You vote like you're losing, you grind like you're losing, you leave everything on the field. I don't care what the Podcastistan people say with their 4 million, 5 million X impressions that mean nothing. I don't care. You vote like your country depends on it because knock, knock, who's there? It does. It's a problem. But this is exactly what's happening. They don't have a chance. Florida moved safe red. Did I show you that? I did show you that. I don't know if I showed you this one. Hold on, where is it? Look. Florida moved. Crystal ball shifted Florida's U.S. Senate race rating from likely Republican to safe Republican. Going in the right direction in both ways, by the way. So it's going and moving to the Republican side of the column. And I showed you earlier, Michigan is moving towards the Republican side of the column. It was blue. It's now a toss-up. Those things don't happen in blue, insane waves. It's simple logic. It's nothing crazy. There is no carry the 4. It's no remainders. It's literally everything go that way. Yeah, my right. I mean, it's really bananas how this is not being reported more. But I don't know. I thought that was absolutely fascinating. I'm going to get into these super chats real quick, and then we're going to get right into the special creation from me to you guys. I made something. Never made it before. It was a musical endeavor. I'm actually intrigued. I'm curious what you guys think about it because I think you're going to like it. You might not. I don't know. We'll see. I don't care. It's all good. We're going to find out. Okay, let's see. Lori Pipkin says $5 super chat. Yes, send in Snake Plissken. He'll take care of it. By the way, people are telling me that is from Escape from New York. I did not know that was from Escape from New York. I didn't know that was the main character's name. I know the movie, but I did not know that was his name. Lori Pipkin said, take him in, he'll take care of it. The Mar-a-Lago man with a $2 super chat says, I'm a retired snook fishing guide in Palm Beach. That's a pretty good life. That's awesome. Douglas Vandal, $1.99. Escape from New York's Snake Blisson, Kurt Russell. Rob Kitchen, $4.99. Snake Plissken is Metal Gear Solid. However, it is Kurt Russell's character in Escape from New York. See, I nailed both. Thank you very much, Rob. Paul Weymouth with a $2. Is San Francisco who wins gays versus Islamists? I don't know who would win that one. I don't want to. Jay, the Interstellar, $1.99. Sounds like National Socialism to me. Isn't it weird? Man, it just keeps popping up. That was pesky socialist. James Boone with a $4.99. A movie about what is happening and what could be the results if the commies win before midterm to let people know so they vote for Trump candidates. Well, there's a few of them coming out. Jeff Spicer, $5. One more thing, Braden. If you don't vote red, you're dead. Yeah, vote red. That's a good idea. Paul Weymouth with a $2 super chat. MAGA for my grandchildren. Larry Frostman, $2, no comment. Night Whisper Grace, $4.99. Thanks, Braden. I missed the word salad. She's Kamalo without the giggles. Yeah, she's going to be back, by the way. I am fully under the impression that she's going to be the nominee. So that's going to be a nice little treat. Just saying. All right, Joe Verhoda, $10 super chat. Mr. Scruff, have you ever seen a documentary called The Great Awakening? If not, please give it a look, and if you can share it, as so the 20-something Scruffy can see. The Great Awakening. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. Me Tori, $2 super chat. These people are nuttier than squirrel turds. Yes, they are. And Lori Pipkin, $5. I'm hoping adult clubs are not okay for little ones. I can't get into it. That one's a gross one to me. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But yeah. All right, people. I have got something special for you guys because we are right at the 1 hour mark. So let me do my normal sign off, and then I'm going to play something that I created. And I would really love your feedback on it because it's not going to hurt my feelings if it sucks, and it's not going to boost my feelings if it's amazing. I genuinely want to know what you think because I'm working with some new tools. So let's do our normal sign off. Listen. I love each and every one of you just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. You guys are the greatest audience on the face of the internet. I mean, I know you know, but we need to make sure everyone knows. So send this stuff out. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. You guys are pretty much the bestest amongst the restest. And I will, of course, see all of you later. But before we go, I'm going to turn my mic off, and I want you to listen to this song that I made with one of the one of the tools that we're developing, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to turn the audio on. I'll leave the comments up. The stream will be going for the next 4 minutes to listen to this song because I'm really curious how your thoughts are. So after it turns off, I'm going to turn it off. All right, let's get it, people.
A king across the water. Never heard a word we said. Taxed us in the shadows while our voices went unread. Sent his soldiers to our doorsteps. Made them self-judging law. Called it order, called it duty. We call it what we saw.
So some of you were asking, was that AI? 100%, totally. I don't even claim to be a musician whatsoever. One of my favorite things about AI is that it allows me to do creative things that I can't do with my hands. That's one of my favorite things. That's why all the creative artwork and the movies and the videos and all that stuff, it's up here. I just can't get it out. So it's really, really cool when I dive into these. But about 93% of you said it was pretty cool. But I appreciate the feedback, guys. More stuff like that coming. There's a lot of things that are on the way, but I am glad that mostly you guys seem to like it. I thought it was pretty cool. But that was inspired by the Declaration of Independence, which I thought was really cool. And the song is called Self-Evident, which, of course, is self-evident of itself. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden.